Shalom Israel. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rechak Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. And who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Talking to you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay? Because today is September 11th, otherwise known as 9/11, which, as many know, back in 2001, there was a terrorist attack on the Twin Towers in New York. Alright, so every year on this day, they do a moment of silence for all the fallen victims of that heinous crime. Okay? And what you're looking at on the screen is just that at my job or whatever. I'm gonna play the video. But here everybody's having a moment of silence for September 11th, for the 9/11 victims. You see, they even got the bagpipe playing, to get you all emotional and whatnot. Alright? So who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? And another thing that's been hot and heavy in Israel is this it's this documentary that's been going around. Akim was doing videos on it called Quest for the Lost Tribes documentary. Alright? And brothers get a chance and watch it. It's on the brother GMS Vegas sit down, as well as the brother Defenders for the Truth. And they did their take on it. Alright? And hey, it's no coincidence that all these things are coming out at the same time, man. And our people should wonder, man, because everybody gets a pass. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets a everybody's is mourned for, but you tribes, man, here it is, you so-called black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you've been here first, and you're looked at as immigrants. When you get shot down in the street, or you know what I'm saying, or when you get brutally handled, it's to well maybe that person, the aggressor, he had a good reason to, but when these other nations or something happens to these other nations, all right, it's we should have a moment of silence. All right? And that's white supremacy all the way. Nobody gives a damn about you tribes. And that proves that we are the Israelites, man. Deuteronomy 28 and 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other. All right? Thus making us the lost tribes, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations thou shalt find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. And thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and thou shalt have none assurance of thy life. So you're just as a sheep to the slaughter, man. You're just as nobody gives a damn about you, man. Okay? Nobody has a moment of silence for a Jake that's being shot by a cop. As a matter of fact, when Jake do the Black Lives Matter, Esau come around and protest their protest, man, saying all lives matter. Going to show you nobody gives a damn about you tribes, man. In the morning thou shalt say, what God it were evening, and at even thou shalt say, what God it were morning, for the fear of thine heart wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. And when you look into actually the brother Rob Mayim, let me see. Okay, it goes into the list of Indian massacres. All right, he has sent me which I can't get it because I don't have good connection here. But he sent me a list on Wikipedia of Indian massacres. There's a whole list of Indian, which are you Gadites, and you Seminole Indians, which are you Reubenites, of the massacres that Esau has done to you. All right, but where's the moment of silence for that? You know, they might give you they'll give you the shortest month of the year, but ain't nobody talking about no Black History Month, man. You know, that's a fucking joke, man. All right, because your Black history is you know, guys that Esau, so-called white man, has set up, man. Okay, this is Jeremiah chapter 2 verse 23. Let me see. Oh, okay. It says, how canst thou say I am not polluted? No, 24. A wild ass Slack, I'm gonna start at 23 for understanding's sake. How can thou say I am not polluted? I have not gone after Baalim. See thy way in the valley, know what thou hast done. Thou art a swift dromedary traversing in her ways. A wild ass used in the wilderness that snuffed up the wind at her pleasure. Basically meaning our people have window with every doctrine, man. Have served every other power. You know, our people is into Buddhism and, Islam, Catholicism, you know. And hey, we see where that got them at, man. You know. And her occasion, who can turn her away? You know, and as when I read that, it makes me think of and was it Psalms? No, Hosea. Ephraim is joined to idols. Leave them alone. You know. And our people, they love these idols. They love these other gods. All right, that was given to them by their oppressors. All right, and it's like, these religions were given to you to keep you enslaved, man. You know, because all these religions, what? God loves everybody. All right, all these religions have holes in them, man. A wild ass used in the wilderness that snuffed up the wind at her pleasure. In her occasion, who can turn her away? All they that seek her will not weary themselves. In her month, they shall find her. Basically meaning that all those gods and all those deities that were meant really for the other nations to worship, it's like, I'm gonna read it again. It says, all they that seek her will not weary themselves. All right, so basically the other nations they're not going to set aside a day, or they're not going to they're not going to give a shit about you. All right, in layman's terms. In her month they shall find her. Withhold thy foot from being unshod, and thy throat from thirst. But thou sayest, there is no hope. No, for I have loved strangers, and after them will I go. And that's something they actually say in these Christian churches, that they're the Gentiles. Well, they're right. They are Gentiles, man. All right. And the scriptures speak expressly about our people, man. All right. Like the brother Shalimah says, this is a bufu by us, for us, man. All right. As a thief is ashamed when he is found, so is the house of Israel ashamed. They, their kings, their princes, and their priests, and their prophets, saying to a stock, thou art my father, and to a stone, that has brought me forth, for they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. And this is what's happening, man. They're going to see our people, they're going to learn the hard way. Okay? And even though these other nations whom they choose to serve shows them time and time again that they don't love them, they still break their backs, all right, to serve them, man, to worship them. All right? And there's no it isn't the only justice you're going to get is from Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. That's the only one that's going to give you justice in this place. Okay? All right. And really, that's for the ones that's turned from their wickedness, which we know most of our people won't do, except the elect. All right. Jeremiah 15:5. For who shall have pity upon thee, O Jerusalem? Or who shall bemoan thee? Or who shall go aside to ask how thou doest? Because nothing's new under the sun. All right. When our people was under the Elamites, which are the so-called East Indians or the Persians, when our people were under the Arabs, which are the Ishmaelites, when our people was under the Moabites, when our people was under the Greeks, which at that point was also Esau, all right, they was serving their gods, man, and it's nothing new until this day. All right, and all throughout the scriptures, when our people were under that captivity, you've seen that they had no rest, they had no love from the other nations. They were persecuted throughout the scriptures, man. So it's nothing new until this very day. All right, that's why the scriptures say, "What? Turn you at my reproof." Scriptures say that actually, because at the end of the day, you're gonna learn the hard way, and you're gonna regret that you didn't follow Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Proverbs 1:23, it says, "Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you." Okay, so Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is the one that's going to plead for your cause. I mean, he's the only one that cares about you. Because I have called and ye refused, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded, but ye have set at naught all my counsel and with none of my reproof. Okay? But that's the point, man. The Most High is the only one that's going to reprove you, the only one that's going to set things right for you, man. All right? The only one that really cares, man. The only one that is going to attempt, at least. It was just something quick, man. Who shall go aside to ask how thou doest, man? And as we just read, man, no other nations will accept Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right? As a matter of fact, he sent his prophets out there to do exactly that, man. Isaiah chapter 58, verse 1, it says, "Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and shew my people their transgression, in the house of Jacob their sins." Okay? So we're supposed to tell our people their sins so they can turn back, and tell them, hey, this is why your life is messed up, because you do this, this, and this. All right? This is why you're getting shot down in the street. This is why, you have your enemies over you, man. This is why you have to go to your enemies for the one of all things. All right? So there's something quick in the spirit. With that, shalom to the elect.